welcome to another episode of Pharside Pholios. We are kicking off our month-long celebration of African American children and YA literature with a special series of author interviews along with our daily posts on all of our social media platforms highlighting authors, illustrators, and books for children of color. So today we have with us all the way live from St. Louis, Missouri, Mantra Louis, Mantra Lotus, and she is a social activist. She's a narrative poet. She's a journalist. She's a long-time experienced blogger. She studied journalism, has background in children's creative writing. She's done feature writing for 2 online magazines, and she's been blogging for like a number of years. So she's got the experience and background to really showcase the work that she does, her work. If you tag and look at her website, justmantra.org, you'll see some samples of her work, and you'll see that it's liberating, it's empowering, and it is raw. She writes for children and she writes for grown folks now. She writes for grown folks too. So she's a little bit out of the box now. And she's the author of Brown Slip, A Loose Woman's Memoir, which is a socially conscious book, creative biopic told through both poetry, prose, and short story, narrating hardship, heartache, and female empowerment, and ultimately self-love. And then she's got 2 children's books, Shades of You, 100 Shades of Black, and Sarrah's Ice Cream. Welcome to the Far Side. Our guest for today, Mantra Lotus.
Thank you so much for having me, Monica. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
Look, this question was not on the list that I sent you, but what's the significance behind the name?
Mantra, because I practice yoga for quite a long deal. And mantra means prayer. Lotus is my favorite flower. So that's been me. It's me. So for over 30 something years. So.
All right. You heard it here first. If you have,
right.
You heard it here first.
Right. And it also is an acronym for my website, which is Motion, Artistic Nuances, Tantric Realities, and Anthology. So
all right. So take those words, because I think there's something powerful about each of those words in mantra.
Yes.
So that it becomes a philosophy that is a place of centering and focus. So
yes.
take those words as nuggets to kick us off as we talk with our guest author on today. And so we're highlighting one of your children's books today, Sarrah's Ice Cream. Sarrah's Ice Cream. So what was the inspiration for Sarrah's Ice Cream?
Well, Sarrah's Ice Cream was actually written as a love offering for my niece, which about 5 years ago I got custody of. And she is mildly autistic. So her reaction is hyposensitivity, which it takes her a little bit longer sometimes to get emotional or to tap into some of the things that I don't want to say other people without developmental issues may be easier to grasp.
All right. So, and my background is speech language pathology.
Beautiful.
So I have children that I've worked with who are on the full range or on the full range of the spectrum. So coming in contact with Sarrah's ice cream, just the minute I saw the title and saw what it was about, I connected to the story and I was just like, okay, I've got to get this. I've got to get this. So without giving the whole story away, tell us about Sarrah's ice cream.
Well, as you know, children sometimes with developmental disabilities can have certain, issues and little particulars or twerks about them. And some of because of me not necessarily having communication with her that I would as a parent, as a biological parent. And since I got her so later on, some of the issues we had with communication were kind of broadened. It was a lot of space. It was very difficult to communicate. But one of the things that I found that seemed to have a common ground was ice cream. So anytime we were having some sort of conflict or difficulty, I was able to get ice cream to kind of calm her down, soothe her a bit. And it seemed to create and open those pathways to speaking and learning a lot easier, a lot better for us. So it's just, it's her thing. So long as we got ice cream, we're good. We're okay.
All right. So, so your main character in your story is a child with special needs, specifically autism. Yes. So, why autism, and like what research or resources did you draw from to put this, story together?
Yeah, families of other autistic children and people with autism will probably already know this, but will relate that children, especially for girl children, they're sometimes later diagnosed as autistic. And that was ours in a case. Sarrah wasn't diagnosed until she was 12 years old. And so I had her since 10. So taking her to different doctors and trying to, see what the issues were, what was actually going on with her was kind of difficult. So I have gone through the gamut. So once I got the diagnosis and found out, then I wanted to learn as much as I could as possible on how to communicate with her, on how our dialogue could be better, and also to how I'm able to empower her and strengthen her as she grows more into young adulthood and soon adulthood, or what I need to do as being her guider. So I researched, I talked to psychologists, doctors, and then my own personal interactions with her was the best, so learning how she works, how things have to be organized and structured a certain way, what will, I don't want to say set her off, but what will cause a negative reaction and what will cause a positive reaction, and watching how she learns. So I'm able to help her with her studies and, and help her in school and so forth. So,
all right. So you did the work.
I'm still doing the work. Yeah, but I did the work. Yeah, we're doing good. We're still progressing. We're doing good though.
All right. That's amazing. It's amazing, like background story to set up your story. So do you have like a favorite part of the story or a favorite line that you could share with our live audience or our replay audience?
Yeah, actually I do. In Sarrah's Attic, at the end of the book, I've included a couple of interactive questions and discussion questions within the book. The one that I really like, I'm going to see if I can find it. It's a poem that talks about, for me, it's interconnectedness. Here's some pictures within the book. I don't know if you guys can see it, but well, let's see, on this side versus the camera. But the poem says, or reads, purple mandalas are like butterflies, labyrinths and mazes, crochet blankets and rubber band balls, intertwined and interwoven like my grandmother's braids, connected like sidewalks and tricycles. I like it because I've been able to, in a sense, see through Sarah's eyes, the way she sees and how she views the world. And at first, initially, I thought that things were kind of disconnected and separate, that one element was far from the other. But learning from her, I saw how she combined everything, which made it easier for me to communicate with her in that aspect. So as just like the poem, it speaks on interconnectedness, that everything is in a sense combined, intertwined, interwoven like her grandmother's braids, so seeing certain symbols and signs and being able to relate to something that may seem like it's not a natural element, but for her and for other autistic children, it can be, so it's like seeing in a different world, and I'm enjoying the journey. I'm learning a lot. It's very colorful.
And that's one of the pieces that is also highlighted, because the book itself is very interactive because of your use of color, the textile shapes. You've got the repetitive mandalas. And so why do you think why was that important for you for that to be included, in your story?
Yeah, as I discussed earlier, one of the reasons is because Sarah's a hyposensitive learner, which means that sometimes she needs things to be a little bit more detailed, yet can be bright. We have hyposensitivity and then we have hypersensitivity, where too much simulation can cause different issues or cause children to kind of revert or shut down. With her, in order to kind of get into her, I needed to see different things, to show different depths, different colors. Brighter colors work better, but they have to be combined with shapes and and other things. So twisting it around a bit, but combining a whole bunch, for her to react. And it's working, for us. It's worked for us. And so within the book, that's what I kind of did, and using calming objects like butterflies and mandalas and just circular things, and having the certain theme that it did, it worked.
All right. So you've included also, you mentioned just a minute ago, some discussion questions at the end of the story, which you don't find a lot often in children's books. So what was the basis for you extending the story with this aspect?
Right. Well, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but I ran a daycare for 25 years. And my background is holistic care, pretty much aimed at alternative medicines and alternative teachings. And I also have two of my daughters, my biological daughters, that I homeschooled until high school. So I've always been interested in different and alternative ways of learning and teaching and instructing children, and also allowing their divine inner selves, in a sense, to kind of create their existence, to come out, so to not necessarily structure them or organize them in a way, but to see what their interests were. With the discussion questions in the back, I wanted it to be interactive, where the reader or readers are able to discuss and kind of tap into one another's characteristics and personalities, and get point of views and, what they think, and, just to open up that discussion, because sometimes it is hard to discuss, and sometimes it's hard to talk, especially when we're seeing the world in different eyes. We're coming from different views as we see it, so getting all that collectively is what I wanted to bring forth in the book, and by combining those discussion questions or adding them.
And that's an awesome thing to put for educators, for those of us who are in classrooms or in more restrictive settings with special needs populations, that we have those types of questions to go to, because with children who are on the spectrum, some may take, when you're asking questions, everything can be a literal take or a literal understanding. So you have to have, different ways of asking in order to pull out the answer that you're trying to get them to get to, and how to direct them, to the task as, the reading gets more involved. So you have to have those strategies. And so when you're able to, in a work like Sarrah's Ice Cream, provide some questions that can be modeled, model questions that teachers can use, and really you can take those questions and tweak them the way you've got them for almost any, basically almost any story. You can, the way they're written, that you can reframe them, that way. So as an educator, I appreciate that. Thank you very, thank you very much for doing that. Look, for doing the work for us on this.
Thank you. My pleasure. Anything I can help.
for this. So what do you hope, that readers will take away from this book? Because, not only children will be reading this book, but, I definitely see parents, reading it, with their children as well. So what do you hope that readers will take away from this story of Sarrah's Ice Cream?
Well, definitely the highlighted aspect of autism in itself. I hope that readers will tap more into it, those who aren't necessarily familiar with it. But also the creativity aspect of it, that is so much we can do, so much that is open for us. And through reading the book, you can see just the different, the different colors, the bright colors, the shapes again, and, and just how we can take something very simple, which seems to be simple to us, and create something beautiful out of it, So, and this artwork is my artwork as well. So to kind of have it, and then to be able, this was a project that Sarrah and I, got a chance to kind of sit down on. So so as I'm doing things and like, hey, what do you think about this picture? Of you, do you like this? Oh, no, so to kind of get her feedback, and then see how she reacted once it was done and once it was finished. It's a beautiful feeling, it really is. So,
can you give us a teaser about any future projects?
Oh yes, without a doubt. So Sarrah's Ice Cream is already out, and my next second children's book, which is you spoke of, is Shades of You. 100 Shades of Black, and it has been released. It was released on January 10th, which was my birthday. And with this book, it's to me, it seems like kind of like a art magazine in a sense. And each color was taken directly from a skin tone. So like honey black is here. I'm still trying to figure out this. Where is it? Cacao nibs. I don't know if you can see it. This actually is the color of my complexion. So the way I created this book was using actual photos of a variety of African descendants from all around the world, and pinpointed different parts of photos and of the actual pictures, and pulled out the colors, and came up with positive names to describe them. Like one particular color a name is Sweet Plum Black, Black Joy Black, you know, so it's from the deepest of the darkest black to the lightest of the light black, you know, it's still black. So a positive, empowering, and inspirational book. And again, it's simple too. It's just colors. And this particular book is 11 by 8. So it's pretty large pages that, you know, small hands can kind of look at and then see some of the colors and, you know, so this one. And I'm working on a virtual art gallery for its launch. I'm also a graphic designer. So I have photos that will be prints that I'm selling along, but I want to do a virtual art gallery just to showcase the beauty of our skin and complexions and families and, you know, who we are, the shades of us. So that's with that. And you spoke a little bit. My adult book is Brown Slip. So this is my precious. That's what I call it. This is the book here. So I'm working on focus groups for the launching of Brown Slip. Both of these books have not been launched as of yet, but they are available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon and at Apple Books. But what I'm doing with these is working on focus groups specifically for Brown Slip of women. And this book, as you said earlier, it highlights femininity, feminine issues, women issues, survival things. I'm a woman of a past survivor of domestic abuse. So this book is a lot for me, and it just takes the journey of different things that we as women go through in defining ourselves and searching for self-empowerment over body image, you know, trying to become more positive, to not have other people's names on us, you know, Mantra Lotus, you know, to not have, to be able to name ourselves and to kind of recreate, you know, who we are and show our destiny, you know. So that's Brown Slip. And I'm working on my first novel too. So that's coming out. I got a lot of stuff in the fire, y'all. You know,
you got a lot of stuff going on.
Man, oh my gosh. Yes. So much. So much. I'm telling you.
You're an out-of-the-box author. You got works including poetry. You got children's books and what you characterize as grown folks books. So do you have a preference for style or a particular genre for your writing?
No, as long as everything is inclusive. I mean, we're mothers, we're fathers, and we have children. We have sons and daughters. So as for families, and specifically the Black family, anything that I do, I want it to be something of empowerment, you know, something of upliftment, something that's entertaining yet thought-provoking and educational, you know. So I have to make sure that collectively that I'm not only doing what all that is that I need to do and to fulfill for my role in regards to children, but also for the whole family, you know, the entire family.
Beautiful. So when I say representation matters, what does that mean to you, especially for this story of Sarrah's ice cream?
Well, we're inclusive, you know, and I think when you think about or see other stories or other things in the media or hear about things and it doesn't represent our face, you know, our stories are very heartwarming, you know, the challenges, the struggles, you know, that then turn into triumph and, you know, and all this beautiful things that we go through. It needs to be shown. It needs to be addressed. And everybody is not in the same box. You know, that's why we're unique, you know, we're authentic. And it's important to have these sort of stories for us and because everybody else, for other people like us, you know, that's relatable, that we can not just see everything as rosy or peachy or everything as bad and terrible, you know, or this particular box. No, we're human, you know, just like everybody else. And all of our stories, every facet should be told, you know.
All right. Thank you for just commenting on the issue of, you know, of representation and the importance of it in our books that, you know, that we're highlighting for children and sharing with, you know, children so that they, you know, they see themselves, they, you know, they hear their voices, you know, they can, you know, say that that little girl looks like me and dresses like me and her braids are like mine. Just something as simple as, you know, hair texture.
Yes, right.
You know, can connect a child, you know, to a story and give it so much more meaning. And, you know, having this story of Sarrah's ice cream was something, you know, around, you know, autism, you know, and ways of communication, ways of sensing, feeling, and navigating the world is just very powerful. So for our viewers and listeners, can you tell us how they can connect and follow you on social media and how they can purchase your books?
Definitely. First, I want to say thank you for this platform. What you're doing is awesome. So thank you for the platform. But you can find me as Mantra Lotus. You visit my website, which is justmantra.org. I'm on Facebook as Mantra Lotus, and Twitter, Instagram, all of those social media sites. The books are found at Barnes & Noble and Amazon, as well as Kobo and Apple for ebooks. So I'm around. Please follow me, friend me, you know, get in touch. Let's collaborate. Let's do some stuff, you know. It's a lot of greatness coming out of this pandemic, I must say, you know. You know, creators work.
It's a beautiful thing.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we were able, you know, to connect. So follow her on all her social media platforms. Connect to her website and check out all of the great things that she's doing and that she has coming up with her, with the new books and focus groups and all those kinds of things. You definitely want to be in the know with what Mantra Lotus is doing. And so to close, I'd like to thank my guests, Mantra Lotus, for spending time with us this afternoon. We wish you continued success and blessings with Sarrah's ice cream and all of the wonderful projects that you have to come. We want to make sure that our audience, our listening and viewing and replay audience, make sure you're staying tuned to the Pharside Coed Book Club Facebook page for more author interviews and posts as we celebrate African American children's and young adult literature during the month of February. So until next time, many roots, many voices are a part of the infinite story. So plant your seeds. Blessings and peace.
Sure. Peace.